Good morning, everyone. This is Erica with Aurora Heart Healing. And this morning I woke up and I was feeling pretty down. I did a couple of meditations to help me process everything that I've been feeling, everything that I've been experiencing, and just wanting to detach and let go of the pain and the hurt. And I know that this is a process, but I also understand that there are certain things that I can actively do to assist in my healing journey. And this morning, when I was taking my kids to school and doing all of the things, I meditated for about 20 minutes before I got out of bed, which helped me with some of those heavy feelings that I was feeling. I made a fruit juice smoothie, something that I used to do all the time for me and my kids, and had gotten kind of away from. And this morning we all drank it, and the kids were like, "Ew, this is so gross." And I said, "I know you guys don't like it very much, but it's really good for you and it'll help you during the day. It'll help you stay active and have some more energy." And they all drank it. They didn't really complain too much after that, after I said, "Hey, like this is what we're doing and this is what we want, right? We want to be healthy and happy." And my son was saying, "Yeah, I've got a six pack." And I was like, "More like a one pack, but okay, we'll keep working on it." And as I was continuing my day and taking my kids to school and just really working through some of these feelings that have been arising, the grief and the sorrow, the heartache, when I got back to my office from taking everyone to where they needed to go, I had a very overwhelming feeling that I needed to do another collective healing. And when I sat down, I went through all of what I needed to do and I cleared the energy. I worked on it, but I want to share with you all what it is that I cleared today. And I hope that this helps anyone. I really appreciate all of the new subscribers that are here. I would really love to invite you, if you're a male masculine, divine masculine energy, to share with your male friends what it is that we're doing on the divine masculines, because bringing awareness to what it is that the patterns are will be profoundly impactful for not just you, but for the collective, for all the men. If you see your friends suffering or in pain on a constant basis and you want to help them out of that, these are the types of videos that you can share with them so that they understand where they're coming from and why, and not in that place of stuck, because being stuck means you're not progressing forward. And by not progressing forward, you're going to find yourself in the same emotional patterns, in the same type of relationships. I know more than anyone how painful it can be to repeat the same patterns in your life that you have repeated before. Through my experience, I've been seeing how much the emotional unavailability was showing up in the relationship, and I didn't see that illusion of connectedness, when in reality my mom and my dad, they were very emotionally unavailable. They didn't like to share how they felt. I saw my dad cry twice when he was drunk, and those were not healthy ways to express your tears. They're actually just ways that was the easiest way for him to do it, because it didn't really come up any other way. My mom, very emotionally disconnected. If you put labels on people, then you would call it narcissism. I personally just think she's a human being that's been hurt and that does not or is not willing to look at how she hurts others with her lack of emotional connection. and has been hurt by her lack of emotional connection. So her emotional awareness is so closed down that she's not able to really truly connect and to say, to be empathetic, to say, I'm going to put myself in your shoes and I'm going to understand where you're coming from. And unfortunately, that's a lot of people because we're so overwhelmed with what we're feeling that we don't sit and take the time to understand what another person is feeling as well. So, to start off this healing, today I was reading the inner work, and this is by Matt and Ash, the yoga couple. And I've been reading it. It's been really incredible to really dive deep into my own wounds, recognizing where I have been having these patterns, these people that are so willing to leave, or my re-triggering of abandonment, all of those things, the unworthy. And while I was reading it that this morning, that's when I got the hit that I'm supposed to be doing some energy work, some collective clearing on divine masculine energy. And if you've ever seen my videos before, I just want you to know that I don't only do divine masculine energy. Last year, I was doing collective readings on divine feminine most of the year, and I didn't record them. I wasn't putting them up online. And that is the part where I wish that I would have. But now that I feel more confident, that I want to share these messages. I'm really passionate about sharing these messages. I've been getting people telling me that they've watched these videos and that this has really helped them. Or people that have that resistance to the healing, they schedule a session and then they say, okay, I felt very resistant to this. So we go back in and then we release anything that is not allowing you to receive that collective healing. The first thing that comes up, it was a quote actually from Carl Jung, and it's everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When we unpack this, we can truly see how behaviors of others can genuinely irritate us. There are certain behaviors that irritate me. When I was a kid, my grandma was very strict and very methodical in the way that she did things. And I absolutely appreciate her for that because she showed me a level of discipline that was lacking in my nuclear family unit. I lived with my grandma for a few years, and in those years, she taught me how to maximize my time. She cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We sat around at the table and ate together. She had me sit down and do my homework. She did my hair every day. When I moved back with my parents, it was a very big culture shock to be changed back into this kid that my parents only would cut my hair very short because they didn't want to deal with it. It was too hard for them. So they cut it really short. I looked like a boy for most of my life. Or at least I felt like I looked like a boy most of my life because they would cut it so short because they didn't want to deal with it. My dad's hair was curly, my mom's hair was straight. And that used to, when I became a mom, my irritation of not taking care of me as a kid, my parents not wanting to comb my hair, it translated to me as for my children, as my daughters, I do their hair. I sit there, I communicate with them. It's a time for me to be able to connect with them. And doing their hair a lot of the time is an enjoyable experience for me. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, yes, because time. And especially now, because now I have a lot more responsibility on myself. But it's something that I really value and I cherish, and I appreciate being able to connect with them and being able to groom them and take care of them. It's one of those things where monkeys, like, they pick the ticks or the fleas or whatever out of each other's hair. And it's like their bonding moment, their time to be able to create connection with each other. And for me, my parents found it irritating to take that time. And in me, I'm leading myself to a deeper understanding about myself. And I really value that connection. I really value that time, that effort, that extra step, that little bit of extra, because I just don't appreciate bare minimum. And it's what I've actually had to accept from a lot of people in my life up until now, where I'm clearing that illusion that I have to accept bare minimum. No, I want to live the life as to the fullest extent. So, what irritates me about others can lead me to have a deeper understanding of myself. What myself wants is, I don't want to live bare minimum. I want to have that extra step of connection, that little bit of responsibility for that genuine talking and laughing and joking with my daughters. That's worth it for me. Now, some things you might think that's way overkill and I don't need that, but that's some things, not all things. So, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. How can we look at that irritation and understand what message it is to learn about for ourselves? The emotion that I found with that, which was interesting to me, was blaming. Putting responsibility on someone or something else so the one doing the blaming does not have to take the responsibility. So blaming. How does blaming show up in our lives? Because it happens constantly. Um, it's their fault that this happened. It's their fault, their responsibility. They're everywhere. One of my friends, her saying is, when you point one finger at someone else, point three back at yourself. And through my last month process, I have radically taken responsibility over what I've done and how I've shown up to be hurtful, to be um, not mindful, to even things that I took too much responsibility over. And that is taking responsibility. Now, giving responsibility would have been, it's your fault that this is happening. It is your fault. It is your responsibility. It is you that should be doing this. And that is another thing that I found that is a common theme within my life, and a common theme that I see out in the world is, it's everyone else's responsibility but my own. We live in a society of a lot of entitlement of, well, if you didn't do it, then I'm not going to do it. Well, where does our own responsibility to address an issue come in? Our own responsibility to say, this is how I feel about this, and this is what I want in this, and that understanding of each other will actually lead us to understand ourselves. But relationship is actually what helps us understand ourselves and each other more. When the people say it takes a village to raise a child, well, I'm going to be brutally honest here right now. We're all children and we're all growing, and we all need a village to raise us too. regardless of how old you are. You can be 70, 50, 30, 20. You need a village to help raise you because our own perspectives are our own perspectives, and we built them through sometimes pain, sometimes loss, sometimes lies, sometimes betrayal. And if we want to continue those patterns, then we're going to continue being the people that blame others, put responsibility of our own actions onto someone else, and we're going to continue those patterns. The next emotion, the next energy is a will to win no matter what. A will to win no matter what. So we're blaming others, but we're also wanting to be completely right. And it was funny because the other day I was listening to uh, it was a marriage counselor. And although I'm getting divorced and papers have been put through and things aren't finalized yet, but although I'm getting divorced, I do not want to progress in the same patterns ever again. The emotional awareness, I am learning how to spot people that might not be emotionally mature. I am learning how to spot different things of lack of discipline, of um, other other aspects that I want to avoid for the next future relationships that I will be in, because my hope for the future is not going to be defined by the past. So as I was working through this psychologist, they said, if you want a happy relationship, you can either be, you can either be right, or you can forgive, or you can either be right or forgive, something like that. And it was because everyone has their own perspective of what's happening in either a relationship or a situation. And when we fight, when we have that will to win and we have to be the right person at all times, no matter what, we do not allow ourselves to step back and say, okay, how is this person actually right? Is this person actually teaching me something that I might not have been aware of? And how can I accept what they're saying, not as a, this is me against you. It's more of a, how can we meet in the middle and understand each other? So, will to win no matter what, there's an inner child safety emotion, which when I say that, a lot of people don't understand the meaning of these, but that's okay because I do. I see them energetically, and I've been downloading more and more of these energies. So the inner child safety emotion is where we go to feel safe. When we were children, maybe we gravitate to that emotion. It's an emotional pattern that started as our child selves, but that it's safe for us to feel constantly. And that emotion is frustration with delays. Uh, Frustration can come up in a lot of different ways, but this one is frustration with delays, delayed gratifications, or delayed in time. So when we want to win, we want it now. We want XYZ right this very moment. And as we can tell in the age of phones and technology, we have to delay our gratification. A lot of times people don't know how to do it because they haven't had that resilience built within them to say, okay, I have to wait for something good, or I have to work for something good, or I can't just give the bare minimum to achieve my ultimate goal. And that delay in gratification, that frustration, tells us, well, I want to win no matter what. So maybe it's doing irrational, some irrational behaviors, or maybe it is doing something that is hurtful to others, but is more of a benefit to themselves in that moment, and not really looking at it from all perspectives because that delayed gratification piece is not there. So, will to win no matter what. Down, I was clearing also the energy of divine masculine, and it's heartache, and it's the physical hurt in the heart. And I know I've experienced that before. Um, in my past relationships, I've definitely had a physical reaction to heartache. If you ever feel like you can't breathe, if you feel like there's something heavy on your chest, those are the energies of heartache. So I cleared the heartache from the divine masculine. There was also a limiting belief that collectively has been placed. And this was, I believe the worst case scenario is going to happen to me. I've been hurt in the past, and now I am assuming I'm going to keep getting hurt. And that limiting belief really does tell us what it is that's happening with a lot of people. If you ever meet someone that's pessimistic, they're pessimistic because they've been hurt. But it's up to us to stand in our truth and say, I am not going to let my past define me. And with that, it's funny because I just thought about that, but I put that in the session review too. With that, what if we stay in our pain? How is that helping us? So we can stay in our pain by saying, okay, I've tried this and I just want to stop. I want to give up. Well, when we do not allow ourselves to feel the immediate pain that a situation causes us, then we are just prolonging the healing process. We're pushing it out to a later date because it will come back and it will show up in one way or another. Alcoholism, mental health issues, behavioral issues, lack of connection, lack of relationship, lack of community, all of those are limiting beliefs that the worst case scenario is going to happen. So it's I've never been able to make friends. So now I don't make friends ever. And then you continue to feel loss of connection. And later on, 10 years later, you're still in that same place of, I don't make friends. Why don't I make friends? I say that because that was something that I used to experience all the time. I would think, I don't have friends. I wish I could have more friends. I don't understand what I'm doing, that people don't want to be my friend. And as I continued my life journey and the energy work that I'm doing, I have noticed that that was my limiting belief. I thought that the worst case scenario was going to happen to me because as a kid, my best friend was also my biggest bully for many, many years. And that happened very many times where there was people that made fun of me. They were saying, you're so fat, you're so ugly. One person, they told me I had unfortunate looks. And I was constantly scared that people were going to say things like that to me again. So I decided, I just somewhere subconsciously, this is what I believe, that they don't like me and they don't want to be around me. Also, I had the messaging from my mother telling me I had a horrible, ugly personality all the time. And that was traumatizing. It was, oh, well, no one likes me. I've been hurt in the past and I'm just going to keep getting hurt. But as I've continued to grow, as I've continued to evolve and watch things unfold, I've seen more and more, okay, that's just a limiting belief because now today I have so many people I can call. I can fall back on anyone that I want I can talk to or talk with people all the time. And I only limit myself to how much connection I want. If I want to connect with all kinds of different people, I can. I went to a festival just recently, and when I was there, I felt bad because I didn't have very many people to come and do the healing sessions that I was offering. But I didn't think, oh, there's something wrong with me. Of course, this is happening because the worst case scenario is always going to happen to me. I thought, okay, maybe this is something that I need to learn from. What is it that I'm going to, and I got to connect with some friends during that time. And I got to really create more of a genuine connection with some of the people that I talked to. I was able to engage with people instead of just doing the readings, which I would love to have done the healing during that time, but I actually got to do it something a little bit more. I got to inform people. I got to teach people while I stood there and talked to them. And I got to create those really genuine, deep connections with friends that came and visited me or that were vending also. And that right there, instead of thinking that I don't ever make connection, I think, wow, connection shows up everywhere. So a limiting belief that the worst case scenario is going to happen to me and I've been hurt in the past and now I'm assuming I'll keep getting hurt is a belief that is limiting. And the emotion, the divine masculine emotion that makes people stick in that environment, that thought process is heartache because we've been hurt. We all have been hurt. I understand what hurt is. Trust me, I know. I may seem happy and excited and everything here right now, but that's taken me that step, that extra step to say, I'm going to sit in the pain. I'm not going to allow this pain to shut me down for the rest of my life. I literally know and see when my heart wants to contract and say, close down, this hurts too much. And I've made a conscious decision to say, I'm going to stay. Who do I want to be? I'm going to stay in love. And is that always easy? No. I'd be lying to you if I said that was always easy. And I don't want to lie to you. I want to be honest. And the authentic me says, hey, staying in your heart center can be hard, but it can happen. And we practice it by staying in our heart center with ourselves and saying, this heartache is real right now. I feel this heartache. There's waves of that emotion coming through, and I love and accept you for what you are and what you have to teach me right now in this very moment. And now the last part is instilling. When we instill a thought in our mind, we are bringing that in and we are saying, this is what I want. This is what I believe. This is what I want to believe now because I was taught before that the worst case scenario is going to happen. Today, I'm deciding that that's not going to be my reality anymore. And instilling, it is also possible the best case scenario will happen. My past does not define me. I trust and believe in the goodness of life. And with that being said, how can you look at some of those parts where you think the worst case scenario is going to happen? Maybe it is, to me, now something that I'm working on is the worst case scenario that could happen in the future is someone that I want to marry wants a divorce. Could that happen? Yes. Is that going to let me def is that going to let is that going to define me? No. Have I felt ashamed of this whole thing? Yes, I felt ashamed because I felt that we could work things out. My optimism maybe was naive, maybe it wasn't. maybe we were just not compatible in our optimistic levels of how life can be. That shame, that heartache is not going to define my future relationships. I will not allow it to. I am deciding today to say, it is also possible that the best case scenario will happen. It is possible that there are genuine men out there that want and believe in relationships and believe that all marriage do not have to end in divorce. It is possible that there are men out there that will love my children as their own and that will parent them as their own. It is possible that there are people out there that want to be not disciplined in a way of, oh, I'm bad and I have to hurt myself for it. Disciplined in the fact that they know that giving the bare minimum is not where they want to be. They want to pour into what projects they have. They want to pour into what it is that they do. They are coming from, I am a whole vessel and I pour into what I have because I pour into myself first. I give myself that respect. I give myself love. I go out and do my own things. And then I come back home and I pour into others as well because I can. Because I may be working 8 days, 8 hours, 8 hours a day, but I can come back home and say, I've given my all to that. Now I get to give my all to this. And thinking in that way of looking at not just myself, for me, I'm changing who I am today. I no longer accept bare minimum. I accept people that say, I want to go above and beyond in my life. I have the courage to move forward. I am strong. I am confident. When I was surrounding myself with people that weren't really confident, I constantly had to reassure and bring up and try to instill that confidence in them, and that wasn't mine to do. And that created a lot of heartache. That created a lot of pain in me because I was like, how else can I teach you how to love you? How else can I teach you how to have confidence in yourself? How else can I assure you that you're doing a great job? There's nothing I can do to assure you. And it goes back to everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Now I understand that that confidence is only generated within. And I cannot give someone confidence that they are not willing to take for themselves. That can only be from within. That can only be something that they've cultivated within themselves. And I've cultivated that over years and years of pain and grief and heartache and joy and accomplishment and self-love and self-reflection. And sometimes this isn't easy, but dang, is it rewarding. When you awaken, it is rewarding to look at the pain and to move past it and to say, this is who I am and this is what I want to be. And I can only be who I am right now, right here. So I hope that this helps. Understanding that everything that irritates us about another person can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Blaming only hurts us because we do not build the muscle to change our own patterns when we blame someone else for what is happening with us. Will to win no matter what. We can all win, actually. We literally could all win. And this isn't just some like, oh gosh, have you ever been in a competition? Yeah, I've been in a competition. But I also know that I've seen people that are down and out and they've mutually exchanged with me and I've mutually exchanged with them and both of us won. Inner child safety emotion of frustration. Are we going to be delaying our gratification? Can we? We can. Sometimes spending the $5 here was a quick, gratifying thing, but in the long run, if we would have saved those extra $5 from little various spots, we could have gone and gotten the big prize instead. The long haul goal. We could have bought the house or the car, or in my case, I want to buy a jet ski. And we could have gotten those things towards the in the long haul instead of that gratification of that instant gratification. And when we delay our gratifications, then we actually build more resilience within ourselves. Divine masculine heartache. I feel you and I see you. I understand where you're coming from and not. No one deserves the pain that they've suffered, but we have the ability to take and claim that pain and say, this is where it ends because I am going to understand myself on a deeper level with this pain. Limiting belief, the worst case scenario is going to happen to me. I've been hurt in the past, and now I am assuming I'm going to keep getting hurt. Is that real? Only you can decide if that belief is going to continue, if that belief is going to thrive in your mind, or if it's actually going to stay in a place of nope, it ends here. I'm not going to accept that all marriage ends in divorce because I've seen so many beautiful marriages in my life. Instilling, it is also possible that the best case scenario will happen. My past does not define me. I trust and believe in the goodness of life. Breathe that in, friends. Trust and believe in the goodness of life.